This is church. Hey, everybody. Ooh, look, my new hat matches our background. Ducks Unlimited. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mega's live stream. Ooh, this is the earliest we've ever done this. Why are we doing this, Holly?
Because Elise is back from Greece. How was it? I've always wanted to go there. Oh, my God.
We hope everybody's doing great on your Sunday. Give us a little like, thumbs up, smash the sub, and we'll get this rocking and rolling.
Yeah, everybody's parents should be like feeling really good about the fact that we're all up and doing church.
It is so true.
This is unheard of for all of us.
Welcome to some of you regulars. Oh, so many good regulars in here today. Amy, Elise, Lincoln. Hey, Kim. And this is going to be a lot of fun.
Jerry, Amy.
So the way that we're going to do this today is kind of mailbag style. And the Enjoy Clark. Awesome. The way we're going to do this is mailbag style. We had some people leave questions in the Patreon. As we go, we'll maybe check in with the chat if we need a few more questions. But we got some really, we got some good ones to start the conversation here.
Bless.
And I think we'll have a lot of fun. Sometimes some of these questions, I didn't make it clear that these were for Hallie and Gray, not Greg and Holly. But might be fun to answer the Greg and Holly ones as Hallie and Gray. So we'll see how that goes.
Should we just see like who we're more inspired to answer as?
That would be confusing.
Speaking of which, y'all, we're getting so my brain doesn't do this right. Now that we're doing these live streams, which are absolutely my favorite, things are happening in the world of Mega in a timeline that then it's not always caught up on the weekend feed. And so we're not sure what is knowledge in the weekend feed, right? Like, is Barbie out in the world?
Has Barbie Lou made the main feed?
Yeah, I think there are things. Sure. I'm worried that there are things. Who cares? We should just. Barbie is out. Okay.
So Caitlin is our resident historian.
Oh, bless you, Caitlin.
And Caitlin made a very astute observation that she noticed that the interstitial stinger changed at some point from the guitar one to the more organ-based one, and that's because you probably won't remember this, but it was too long. And so if you listen back to old Mega episodes, yep, there is a different commercial break sound.
I completely forgot about that. It was like whoa. Completely forgot that one.
If I only had Caitlin's brain for the show that I'm on.
If I only had Caitlin's brain.
So this is going to be. I don't think we're going to do any bingo today, but if you did win bingo in the other weeks and didn't get your pin, let me know. You can always message me in the Discord.
Weren't we gonna do some kind of like mapping device, and if they call it out, they win the pin? Not a mapping device, but okay.
I don't remember that.
Do you want to do the Donovan Geo catchphrase thing we were goofing off about?
For a pin, though? I don't know how we would do that.
If they identify it.
Oh. Okay, yes. If a new Donovan Geo catchphrase pops up today and you can identify where it comes from, I'll send you a pin.
Or could we do multiple things from that?
I think we got to keep it to one.
I don't know if I have enough in my brain.
I definitely don't have enough references.
My Christian references are so old. I've been out for too long.
So if you could identify the new Donovan Geo catchphrase, I'll send you a pin. And these are the pins. Cool. Climax. Looks like this t-shirt. And I put a Barbie Luya shirt in the Mega Store. I think all the shirts are $16 right now. So if you want a shirt, there's the link. And let's do a little prov. Can we get into it at this early hour?
With this ADHD Jesus brain.
So I'll roll on us here. And
Do we have enough? Do we need any more?
we got tons.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay.
Riley had their coffee. Riley, I love the question. I think I want to start with a Riley question because it really made us laugh pretty hard for some reason when we thought about it for Hallie and Gray.
Yeah.
But I haven't read, actually, I've only read Riley's and I read one other one, but I haven't read through all of them. So this will be great because they'll be brand new. And so it'll be very improvised. All improv all day, baby.
And so if you ever need a question, you can just throw it to me and I'll pull it up. You just keep talking.
Talking.
Okay, Hallie, let's go.
Here we
go.
go.
Put your Hallie voice on this early.
Okay. Here we go. I got your bag.
Get your bag.
Whew. Hiya, I'm Hallie Levant, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single day we're giving our mega church. I already fell off the way.
Every single day.
Uh-oh. I was just reading something this morning about, I sent it to you because I want to talk to you about it, that there's been all this like stuff about the prefrontal cortex and like dopamine and stuff for like reward center stuff on ADHD. But now it's like new research in the cerebellum and in the ganglion and stuff. And in things that are supposed to be like a lot of times when your body, like in physical therapy, learns a certain like movement behavior, it just becomes automatic.
Right.
But for a lot of neurodivergent people, it never becomes automatic. So everything has to be conscious all day long. That's why I hate daytime. Yeah. But it just, it's like too many conscious steps all the time. And I get so drained because I think there are things you're doing automatic.
Automatic for the people.
Neurotypical.
You neurotypical.
I'm so mad
bastard.
living in your world. Okay, we can do it this time. Hiya, I'm Hallie Levant, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church, where every single week we're giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love to introduce you to members of our church staff, people from our community, and I always find it to be a treat and a treasure. And per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Welcome, my friend, Gray Haas.
Hey, Hallie, Jesus up top or whatever.
Up top and down below?
Yeah. I don't want to do all that. I'm sorry, Hallie. I'm coming in and I'm a little bit titchy.
Oh, whoa. Well, I would like to start out by saying that I'm excited to do life together with you, my brother in Christ, and we are recording this episode live with on YouTube, on our YouTube live stream with our Patreon members giving us questions and suggestions. So, is your titchy mood going to get in the way of any of that like really fun Q&A?
Well, today is a mailbag episode, basically, Holly. So today's a mailbag episode, basically, Hallie, and we had people send in their spiritual questions.
Did you say Holly?
It's just my accent.
That's so weird because you know what? I'll answer to anything. If I know it's sort of in my general direction, I'll answer to it. I mean, I'm not even sure Steve really knows my name because a lot of times he goes between Hallie, Hannah, Holly. He's even called me Molly. So go ahead. It doesn't matter. I'll respond. You can call me whatever you want, whatever you experience me as. That's cool with me.
He called you Happy once.
That's right. And I was in a titchy mood, so I took it as a rebuke.
Anyway, Hallie, yeah, we're going to do some Q&A today and answer people's questions and queries.
But what's got under your skin?
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned him before, but my neighbor, Donovan Gio.
Oh. Yeah, Donovan Gio with the catchphrases and with the Y fronts.
Yeah, well, he's Clay's neighbor. And
oh yeah, because you don't live there.
No, I just visit from time to time, and I live close by, so I get plenty of it, and I don't need any more of it. Because, Hallie, I just am trying to do the Christian thing when it comes to a neighbor. You're supposed to be neighborly. You're supposed to be welcoming to the stranger.
Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself.
You're supposed to love them as yourself, and I definitely love myself, Hallie, and I think I'm doing great. but it's so hard sometimes. I'm like, is God testing me with this guy? Because
Yeah.
now I mean, it's just that he right as we were sitting down last night to eat, and I had, worked all day on this. I really, really have gotten into cooking, Hallie. Have I told you
Awesome.
this?
No, what do you like to cook? Give me some recipes. What do you do? What do you know?
Well, there's this really awesome French cookbook that took all of these French recipes and basically made them protein forward French recipes. So I really wanted to make
Awesome.
a boeuf bourguignon.
A boeuf
I
bourguignon?
wanted to make a boeuf bourguignon.
A boeuf bourguignon?
And I told Clay and I told Popsicles, hey, I'm going to make you a boeuf bourguignon.
It
And
doesn't sound like, is Popsicles a picky eater?
yeah, Popsicles won't eat anything. All he wants to eat is sugar all the time and he's all hopped up.
Well, welcome to all kids. Ever
So
met him?
I wanted to make this boeuf
A
bourguignon.
boeuf
A
bourguignon.
boeuf bourguignon.
A boeuf bourguignon.
And which is basically beef. Okay. And here's the thing about that. Here's the thing, Hallie. It took me hours to make. And wouldn't you know, as soon as I put it down, Popsicles doesn't want to eat it. Clay gets a call from work. It's an emergency and he's got to go immediately. And through the back door, all I hear is, what are we going to do about dinner?
Donovan Gio.
And Donovan Gio comes in the back door and just
What are we
plops
gonna do about dinner?
and it just plops himself down and he's in his Y-fronts. I'm like, it's 9:30 at night. Okay. And
Wow, you eat dinner late.
well, I had to. I usually don't, Hallie. Usually I'm in bed by 9.
How did you make it? Like in a Le Creuset on the stove top?
No, I just made it in the air fryer.
Oh wow.
Anyway, it was the boeuf bourguignon, and he eats the whole thing.
What
I'm
did you
sitting there
invite him
so
to the
mad.
table? Did he just reach into the pot and eat it out of his hand? What are you talking about?
He doesn't ask, Hallie. He's just like a feral dog with a spray tan. And I just because I've heard they do that sometimes to adopted dogs. Do you know that? They'll spray
Wait.
paint them. So if like they're shedding all their fur, they'll put spray paint on them to make the pictures look cute. That's basically what this guy
Do
is.
tan dogs get adopted quicker?
I'm sure they do. You know about dogs. I don't.
Wow.
But anyway, he came in. He said, "What are we gonna do about dinner?" And I was like, I'm just like, how is it that Clay is giving this guy easy access to the
Yep.
whole
Yep. He's because Clay
place?
has a sign on the back door that says backdoor friends are best. And so Donovan Gio has taken that, sign that he got at a regular old Home Goods and or Pier 1 and Imports, and Donovan Gio has taken it as a wholehearted invite. And I am here to tell you, I've said it before, Gray. I'll say it again. I think CMB likes him.
But
And
I know he doesn't. That's the thing is Clay is also doing it's the sometimes, Hallie, when you're really trying to walk the walk as a Christian, then you've gotta, you've basically gotta do what Jesus says, which is love your neighbor as yourself and turn the other cheek. Oh, I forgot to tell you, he was like, this is so good. Donovan G was like, this is so good. It really gets me on. And he tried to slap me in the face.
This is so good. It really gets me on.
It really gets me on. And then I had to turn the other cheek because I didn't want him slap. He likes to do this little thing where he slaps you on the cheeks. This is so good. It really gets me on.
I would hate it if somebody was slapping me in the face, even lightly.
Okay. Anyway, that's my gripe. Let's get into
I'd say it's
the
a heck of a
questions.
gripe. I'm sorry, but you know what? I feel like you are allowed to be very direct with Donovan Gio, and you can always, number one, say, Donovan, I'm going to ask you to put on some pants. That's always got to be the first one.
I've said that, Hallie. He says, these are my pants.
Second, you say, this is Clay and Popsicles' dinner and my dinner. Because here's the thing. I know that Jesus said if someone is hungry, feed them. But there's the like disclaimer that if they have their own food in their refrigerator and they're not in need, which I don't think Donovan Geo is, because he's buying plenty of Y fronts over at, I don't know, he's probably getting them. He's probably going to one of those unique glow stores or something and like trying to dress like these hip, K-pop
He
groups and
buys all his
everything.
Y fronts at Lad Life.
Lad Life,
Lad Life.
Lad Life.
It's a store.
Oh,
Anyway,
a guy's store?
yeah, mostly. But I think the thing is, Hallie, is I said this is food for me and Clay and Popsicles, and he said, "Where are they?" And he was right; they weren't there. So I sort of had to share the birth bourguignon with him.
Does Popsicles, like, take off on his own? I mean, isn't he a toddler? Is he allowed to be by
Oh,
himself?
he's allowed to be by himself. He's old enough now where he can babysit himself.
I think at that age, you're supposed to keep an eye on him. I could
Nuh-uh,
have
he's
one of my
fine.
daughters come over and watch him for you if you throw her $20 an hour or something.
Oh, which daughter?
The one who is still hanging out with a very feminine girl, all the time, always together, pushing each other, giggling, laughing. It's fun to see female friendships. I never really had them that much. I have my book club, but we have to have these other auspices to get together, like small group or whatnot, because otherwise, if I was just hanging out with a friend, well, I wouldn't be, serving God or serving my husband, Lance Labont, or, trying to get to what is my third priority, which is my kids. They're always like, we should be your first priority, mom. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but you know what?
You know the
Number
deal.
one is Jesus.
You know the deal.
Number two is Lance, because guess what? That is what I'm commanded to do in the Bible. And I think that should make you comforted that you're my number three priority, as my children, because A, that's still pretty high up there.
It is true.
And B, you better emulate my values that I got Jesus first.
That's right. Well, Hallie, let's jump into these questions. And why don't you do that first one that came up in the question when we asked listeners for some questions?
Oh, cool. Well, Riley said, how are you? Like, how are you really lately? How's life? What's on your mind?
Well, I think I've kind of covered it, but I'm awesome. I'm positive. I am absolutely grinding, and yeah, and everything is going really, really great for me. Other than the pain that is Donovan Geo and his whole thing. But otherwise, I am hashtag grind all the time. And it's been really, really great because Climax is growing. It's basically giving me time now that I've got it kind of on autopilot to just get into some of the other things that I really want to do, which is building my social media presence,
Ooh,
possibly, getting some sponsorships lined up this year for everything I'm doing in Climax. And third, of course, always like your third, Hallie, just dating and really committing to dating my
awesome.
lady friend.
Tiffer.
Yeah, Tifa.
Tiffer and her twiplet twins, Mickey and Barbie Lou.
That's right.
And they all are have they gotten their casts off yet?
What? Oh, that. Oh, because of
They all have a broken, well, Tiffer has a
Tifa
broken
has a
foot,
broken foot.
and Mickey and Barbie Lou are having sibling pain, twin pain.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen Tifa and Mickey in person for a couple weeks. They said they've been really busy making some new workout videos, but Babby Lou has been over because I forgot to tell you, Babby Lou stopped by after uh after Donovan Geo ate all the birth bourguignon, and then they did it. Then they took the rest of the pot up on the roof, and they were sopping up the stuff with bread
Oh,
in the bottom,
really?
and they were up on the roof just having a little sopping it up, Patty.
You and Clay keep bread in the house?
Well, it's Clay's bread that he sometimes we like to feed it to Popsicles like a duck.
Oh, that's fun. I love giving some old, stale scraps to the kids,
Yeah.
because it is fun to sit on a park bench and throw it to ducks. It's relaxing,
It's a
although they do
mindless
attack
activity.
each other, they'll just be pecking to death at the weakest one, and that
Yeah.
that one never gets any of the crumbs, and, I guess that's just nature. It's violent.
How are you, Hallie? How are you? Like, really, how
Blessed.
are you?
Oh, what?
I'm repeating the question. How are you? Like, really, how are you?
How are how am I?
Well, yeah, Hallie,
Um,
how are you? I'm just reading the question. How are you really lately? What's on your mind? Like, how are you?
like, how am I? Like, me personally, Hallie? Like,
Yeah,
what
I guess.
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before ever. How am I? How am I? I mean, who am I? Who are they asking the question to? Are they asking, are they asking, Hallie the mom? Like, am I being a good mom? I think I could probably be a better mom. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get frustrated, I get brain fog, I get moody. I can be a little titchy in the house sometimes. I'd give myself a C plus on most days. But like, what do you mean? Like that? Like, what kind of wife am I being? A helpmate to my husband? A godly wife? Like that? What am I?
No, how
Is that
are you,
who I am?
Hallie? How are you?
But who am I? I mean, how would I know how I am if I don't know who I am? Am I but as a child of God, as a child of the utmost high God, I guess I'm displaying the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control, but not always. I mean, I'm not always, having displaying a ton of self-control. I do um occasionally, I have to call on the Psalms and the Proverbs, when I get frightened, anxious, depressed, um, those unfamiliar emotions that are unpleasant to say the least. I usually will go bury my face in one of the backsides of my Frenchies or my corgis. I'll grab pajamas and just bury myself in her pelt of her neck, and I'll just do some scream cries once in a while. And I say, well, that's weird. Where'd that
What?
come from? Maybe it was just, what? God made women emotional so that they would care about the babies and not abandon them. And it's a cross to bear. I'm going to tell you that right now. As a man, Gray, you don't know this because you're not married to a gal yet, but you'll learn. We have feelings and emotions, and boy, are they hard to ignore. But if you can get a woman who can really, just no, send them away like a shark in the water. That's what you're supposed to do. If a shark comes up to you in the water, you're supposed to bop it on the nose and redirect it. And that's what I do with my feelings. I say, get out of here. Is that what I don't know. Who are you asking? I mean, maybe if you asked me when I was a kid, I would have said, I believe all these things to be true about me. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a poet, I'm an artist, I'm an athlete, I'm a swimmer, I'm all these things, and I'm happy. But you know what? Now I would say I'm a two, I'm a helper, I'm a wife. I don't know. Well, I don't, it's hard to answer the question when I have never been asked how am I? I don't know am. I don't know how I don't know. I might ask my husband Lance Labont. Could I just get back to you, or maybe that question was for you, Gray?
Yeah, I d I think I think they just wanna know, like, are you good or something?
A blessed.
Okay, great. Let's move on because that, question didn't seem to really get anything, going. Now, I think the next question that I'm gonna choose, Hallie, is from, someone named Caitlin. She says, "Dear Hallie and Gray, my husband and I are expecting our first baby, a girl, this fall.
Oh
My
my
hu
goodness, that is
Oh,
so blessed.
I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
My husband's favorite names are simple, biblical names like Naomi,
Awesome.
Ruth, and Hope. But
Oh,
I
I love
prefer
that.
unique names like McCurtsey and Aliabella because I always thought my own name was common and boring. It is important." Yeah, Caitlin is a bit boring, isn't it, Hallie? Uh,
Common and boring. I feel like Caitlin's not common.
oh, really?
No.
Oh, yeah, I guess I guess not common, but I mean, it's just like Caitlin, I've never heard that name really just used. Just kinda seems like bicycle or
It's
something.
sort of two names shoved together, isn't it? Like, a lot of times Lynn is not very often a first name of a gal, but it's often a middle name of a gal.
Yeah.
Lynn is the middle name. So they kind of just shoved Kate, which is also a first name, a common first name. That's a common first name, but not too boring. I think it's cute, like Kate Spade.
So
But
she
Kate
asked.
Lynn is just shoving them both together, which is something I think they do in the South.
So she just asked, "Is it important that both of us? That both is it important to both? It is important to both of us that our choice honors God and reflects the creativity and grace we hope our child grows to embody. But our different tastes are becoming a source of conflict. Do you have any suggestions of names we should consider or advice on how we can come to a compromise?" Oh, that's so great. Well, this is
Caitlin, I feel like your answer is staring you right in the face right there in your question.
is it
I heard the name Creativity and Grace. That's a beautiful name.
grace,
Creativity and Grace.
creativity, and grace?
Grace. Grace is a gorgeous name, biblical. You're not going to get your
Grace,
husband off the biblical name because you know what? He's onto something there. And also, he's the head of the household. So you kind of got to go with it.
gracivity.
Gracivity is pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I do like this idea of combining two names.
Because people want to have a creative first name that stands out. What's more creative than the word creative? So come here, creative. Get over here. Creative just took her first
Oh,
step.
that's fun. Well, I would
This is
also
creative's principal calling. We need to come in and have a parent teacher meeting because creative just got real creative again, putting her knee into the nut sacks of all the boys in the class.
Hallie, but there's something that I would recommend, which is, if your husband is saying, "Hey, what about a name like Zacchaeus?"
Excuse me.
and you're thinking of
Ooh,
a name
Zacchaeus is
like
cool.
Jesus or something,
Ooh,
maybe
that's
you
really
could
the
do
best
like
name ever.
Zacchaeus. Just make sure
Oh,
that his name is the one that he wants goes first, because I think you need to honor. I think you need to honor your husband in the name, because after all, there are no babies without a guy involved.
Isn't that right? He provides like 9 seconds of what I guess you could call effort, and then the woman spends 9 months sacrificing her, body and risking her very
It
life.
only takes a spark.
You should name it after the guy. I mean, name your painting after the person who loaned you the brush, right?
Oh, I guess it's a girl though, so Zacchaeus might not work.
Good point. But, let me know if you use the word creative as the first name. And then I think you could drop the N with an apostrophe, or you could keep it in there to keep it interesting. I mean, people do all sorts of things nowadays, but you don't want to stand out too much because, that could just be trying to pride comes before a fall thing. You're just really trying to get attention, which is not, we're always trying to keep it pointed up to the big guy up there. Point the attention up there.
A trend of names that's been happening in Climax a lot now, Hallie, is, I'm just getting a whole generation of incoming freshmen that have these kind of two-syllable names that are oftentimes verbs, like flip cup
Oh,
or
wow.
chip shot.
Huh.
Have you heard this going around?
Well, I did meet recently my son Day has a new friend and her name is Sunbach.
Sunbach.
I said, Sunbach? Well, of course. I told Day that, well, I goofed off with her. I said, I'm going to call you Sunblock and you know it. And she's like, oh, I've never heard that before. And I said, then I'll call you SPF. But I'm not going to remember the same name Sunbach. It's never going to come to my mind because that's too out there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
that
I'm
is too out there.
Sunbach. How is that ever going to be committed to memory? And yeah, but that's what people are doing now. It
Yeah.
does seem like it's kind of asking for attention.
Lip balm.
I did meet a lip balm before. I've met a cherry pie.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That seems a bit too on the nose.
She does my nails and she says she's a Christian. But I feel like with a name like Cherry Pie, I mean, you're sort of asking for it. I mean, who doesn't want to bite a pie? You know what I mean? A whole piece of pie.
Well, let's move on to another question, Hallie. This next one is from Annunziater, and they ask, let's see, gray, spelled 3 different ways, none of them correct.
Oh, how do you spell gray? I always thought it was Gray.
Hallie, it's on my door.
Oh.
Last time we met, you said quite forcefully that you are no contact with your whole family. Can you tell us why? Please include a lot of details so we can pray for you more effectively. Did that relative from Australia ever find you?
Good
Well,
question. Thank you for that thoughtful question.
I'm definitely no contact with my family. Thank you for this question. And it's always good
Oh,
when
it grieves
someone
the heart of God.
says they're no contact with their family to ask them a follow-up and ask them why. Because what people usually who are no contact with their families want to do is really discuss the reasons why they're no contact. Do you know what I mean, Hallie?
Yeah. Well, but this is the thing. A lot of times if a gal is pregnant and nobody ever asks, she feels kind of bad because she's like, well, people just think I naturally look like this.
Yeah.
So it's best
Oh, always
to
ask.
always say, oh, are you pregnant? Even if it could just be some simple bloating from having too much gassy food, which I have been really having trouble. And so to go back to
Hallie,
Riley's question of how are you? No, like really, how are you really? I'm a bit gassy.
I don't think we want to go back to that question, Hallie.
Oh, sorry.
But I guess when it comes to no contact with family, I don't even consider it to be an issue in my life because once you go no contact, you can stay absolutely positive. And I
Oh, that's
realized,
cool.
every year I do an assessment. I do 2 columns in my life,
Okay.
and I do all the things that are positive and all the things that are bumming me out. And
Awesome.
if there is anything in that column that's bumming me out, I do away with it. And a few years ago, I realized I had all these blessings in my life. And that one thing in that other column was, guess what it was, Hallie?
Your family.
My family. And so I had to cut them out.
Are they non-believers?
I don't even know, Hallie.
Well, I think it's okay to cut out
I
non-believers.
don't even know because I cut them out. And
Well, I'm gonna assume that they don't believe in God.
yeah, they probably don't. I
They
wouldn't know.
probably hate
I
the
cut them
Bible.
out.
They
They
probably have signs in their lawn that say, "We believe in science around here and facts and history and stuff like that."
they might, Hallie, but
Or is
I've
it
cut them out.
opposite in Australia? What's the opposite of facts and science and history?
The opposite of facts and science and history, I would
Yeah.
say it's magic
Mm. Mhm.
is one,
Mhm.
alchemy
Ah.
and futurism.
Yeah, that's like sorcery and, astrology. It grieves the heart of God.
So I think that probably covers the family stuff. I feel like I've gone into great detail there, and I never ever want to talk about it again.
Well, I met one of your brothers walking around campus looking for you.
He's not my brother. Anyway,
Oh, really?
anyway,
He looked just like you, and he said he was your brother, and um, and his name was Dolph?
no, Hallie, I don't want to talk about. I told you
Do you have a
if there,
brother named Dolph?
if there is family that says they are related to me, they aren't because I've cut them out. It doesn't matter.
Well, I
Just
didn't give
because
it.
there might be blood there, blood ties, I'm washed in the blood, and that blood covers the other blood.
Oh, yeah, I guess that is a logic that really is sound, but I'll tell you what, I didn't tell him anything, I didn't tell him where you were, anything. All I said was, "Dolph, I'm never gonna remember that name. How in the world can you just commit to memory a non-name like Dolph?" And so I said, "Well, I'm gonna call you Gandalf because that's the only way I can remember it." I said, Gandalf and Gray." That's how I'll remember it.
Why? What does that have to do with one another?
Well, because Gandalf was gray until he was white. And the only reason I know this is because J.R.R. Tolkien is a Christian. And so I committed all his works to memory because I feel like it comes after the Bible. And I'm trying to commit the entire Bible to memory. Anyway,
Ugh.
you had a brother walking around campus and his name was Dolph, a name no one would ever remember. Okay, should we do our next question?
Let's do it. This next one is from Amy Y. And she says, Hallie, my little girl, Patience Grace, told me that she's in Sunday school with one of the Labat girls, the one
Patience
that's
Grace is a great
Patience
name.
Grace.
Well, that's what Caitlin should use right there.
Oh, maybe you just flip that around, Caitlin, and call her Gracians.
That's good.
That's good. Gracians. She's in school with one of the Lamont girls, the one still in pigtails. Is your youngest in elementary school, or is the one of the famous cousins Lamont that migrated to Twin Hills after your dear father-in-law retired? Also, please pray for my family as we are hoping to finish the fruits of the spirit, but there have been problems after the twins' kindness, hope, and goodness, Bethlehem.
Wait, twins named Kindness, Hope, and Goodness Bethlehem?
I mean,
Caitlin,
again,
here's more. These are awesome. Just steal them.
how about hopeness?
Hopeness works. Goodlehem works.
Goodlehem is very good.
Never met a Goodlehem.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess the question here is, Hallie, what do you have a daughter that's wearing pigtails?
Oh, the one that, of course, my daughter who has the pigtails is also the one who keeps locking the bathroom door and wreaking havoc on the edge of the tub.
Oh, that's that one.
She's in there riding the side of the tub as if it's a horse. I mean, I find these towels, triple, quadrupled up on top of there. She's like trying to make some kind of English saddle on the side of the tub.
In the bathtub on the bathtub?
I don't even hear water running in there. I don't know what's going on.
Why don't you just give her horseback riding lessons or something?
I'd tell her, come out of the bathroom and look at your big sister who's hanging out with a friend girl. We call them friend girls in our house because we don't want it to sound like it's your girlfriend, because then people might get ideas. So we call them friend girls or friend boys. Unless you're dating them, because then it's your girlfriend or boyfriend, which I'm always trying to get my son Day to go out on a date with a girl. But, he's doing all this like wearing pastels and being a soft boy. And I don't care for it.
What's a soft boy?
Not somebody who's going to get a date. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I think that answers that question. Here's also another question from a listener, Lincoln. Dearest Hallie and Gray, recently 2 women in their 40s moved into the house beside mine. They seem to do everything together. They garden together. They go to the farmer's market together, and I never see any male visitors come by. They seem nice enough, but I'm beginning to become suspicious of the nature of this whole situation. How can I make sure false idols haven't infiltrated our Christian neighborhood? How can you spot a Catholic these days? Any advice would be truly appreciated. Yours truly, next door to nuns.
It does sound like you're next door to nuns. Now, Lincoln, this it grieves the heart of God. I'm gonna need a little bit more information, and it honestly grieves me to even ask this, but I need to know what their haircuts are and what their bottoms are. What are they wearing on the bottom?
Oh,
is it a big cargo short that's in the color of sand to khaki to olive green? Are there lots of pockets? Are the pockets not buttoned? Do you have multiple pockets on the sides, also in the back? Is there any amount of, one of them holding up a boom box over their head, outside in the front lawn, and it's playing "Come to My Window," stuff like that? Do you see stuff like that
I
happening?
think he's asking if they're nuns, Hallie, because also, P.S., they do not wear typical habits like I've seen before, but they wear Birkenstocks even in November.
Well, they could have plantar fasciitis, but my man, the Burks are not sending us down the direction I want this to go. I'm just being honest with you.
I guess I'm trying to understand
Do they wear socks in the Burks, Lincoln?
Oh, do they put their hand in their pocket?
One hand. Because if a gal only puts one hand in one pocket,
They're
if a girl
probably a nun.
shoves two in both, they could be anything. But if they only have one hand in one pocket, and the thumb might even be out, and the hand is real, all the fingers are real tightly together and they just slip right in there,
She might be a nun.
Be a nun. Yeah.
I would just do the simple nun test that oftentimes I would do when I was near any Catholics, just to see if there were Catholics next door. One time I had a similar situation. I would just go to the window, I would throw it open in the morning, and I would just sing a line. I would just say, "Climb every mountain," and if they replied,
Forge every stream.
Then you know it's a nun.
Follow every rainbow.
Then it's a nun.
Wow. Till you find your dream. That's how you find your nun, my man.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pray a hedge of protection around you, Lincoln. I can come over if you want, and I'll walk the grounds, pray a hedge of protection. But beyond that, I will right now even just bind Satan in the name of Christ. He sure hates that name, and I'm gonna put you on the top of my prayer list.
It's such a good thing to do, Hallie. Should we move on to a new question?
Yeah, that was a great question, and though it grieved the heart of God, I think Lincoln, you're gonna see. Also, you can send us back more information. What do they drive? You know, does it have 4-wheel drive? Oh, that's a slippery slope, but so is one of those little smart cars. You see two women getting a tiny little smart car. I mean,
definitely a nun.
there's so little room in there, your fingers could be anywhere. And that could be a nun mobile as well.
Somebody asked in the Discord, Hallie, describe Hallie and Gray, describe your co-host as an animal. What are they and why?
Awesome.
I'll go first. Describing my co-host as an animal. Are you my co-host?
Yeah.
Oh, do you consider this? I guess I do consider it a co-host. I kind of consider it. I kind of consider it like I'm the host and you're also here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess something that I would think of, an animal that comes to mind for you, Hallie,
Is it like
is
physically,
yeah,
similar
or personality.
or more like vibe?
I think I've got it. Hamster.
Hamster?
Hamster.
Wow. But I'm 5'11".
Hallie,
I thought you were going to say a big animal. See, you know what? I feel great about that, Gray, because what are women supposed to be if not tiny? I mean, culture tells us that we need to pretty much have a famine body until we hopefully disappear. And at 5'11", I'll tell you what. I thought I would never find a spouse. I mean, never. I used to always wear long skirts so that I could bend my knees and make myself a foot shorter around men. And you couldn't tell I was squatting down inside the skirt was kind of like a, tent inside there. So
how would you walk?
I would walk almost like one of those, like pterodactyl dinosaurs almost, because I was walking instead of upright. I was walking with bent knees to appear shorter so I could get a spouse. Because I'll tell you what, only reason I went to college was not to get an MA or a BA or a PhD. I went to get my MRS. Am I right?
MRS?
Mrs. This is how you remember how to call someone Mrs. is that you think about misters and you just take the apostrophe out. She belongs to him. It's his property. Isn't that right?
It's his problem now.
That's true.
Yeah, so I would just say hamster, Hallie, because
why hamster?
Well, you always got a little handful of nuts that you're shaking around and pop it in your mouth.
That's true. I'm always popping nuts in my mouth.
Yeah, because you've always got your little trail mix in your hand. You're always popping that in.
I love it, and I get it with M&Ms in it.
And then I would say you mentally kind of feel like you're always on a wheel, and
that's true. It feels like it too.
And also, I've been in your office, and it kind of seems like a nest.
Oh, that's true. It really does. And I have that camelback in there, so I can just go right up to the edge of it and just go, and I can just lick the water, the end of the water tube, and I can stay hydrated while I'm eating my nuts.
Oh, that's what's on the back of your door, the camelback?
Yeah. And so if I swing the door open, I can just reach, which is I extended my neck. I can reach over. And
why don't you carry some water around with you, Hallie?
I got that too. I got my fiber shake. I got my protein shake. I got 3 to 4 shakes I make every single day.
And I guess the last thing that reminds me of you being a hamster is, you've got a lot of kids, and no one really knows how many.
Well, that's true.
What about me, Hallie?
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. It's going to have to be an animal that has a lot of great prowess.
Yeah.
Is virile.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure what either of those words mean, but I think they're very masculine. Am I right?
Yeah.
because I experience you as very masculine. I mean, you have these bulging muscles.
Yeah.
You can do a pull-up.
I can do a lot more than one.
Oh, how many pull-ups can you do?
Probably 1,000, Hallie. I've never been able to do.
Wow.
I've never tried that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow morning at the gym. Just do pull-ups for as long as I can, because I've tried to do that and I get bored, so I stop.
My husband, Lance Labont, put up a pull-up bar in the top of the doorway into the kitchen and then promptly never used it. So I've tried to do it once or twice, but I get on there, I'm hanging, my arms are straight as sticks because I'm holding on for dear life, and I can't even get a tiny bend in the elbow. I can't even get it to even bend. It's just stick straight. I just hang there like a dead goat bleeding out.
Back to me, Hallie. I just think that, I think you're on the right track. Prowess, probably apex predator.
Oh,
Smart.
definitely.
Very
You
smart.
never stop. So I want to say shark, because like sharks never stop or
Never
they
stop.
die.
Yeah.
So I could say shark, but I don't think you're scary. I think you're godly.
Oh,
So
I
I
can
feel
be,
like I
Hallie.
gotta say lion because of Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, and that Aslan is Jesus. But I don't want to put the pressure of Jesus on you because I know you're his bride and not him. Although bride doesn't feel masculine, so I'm not going to call you a bride. But I want to say like some kind of very elegant gazelle. If I say like a physical, if I notice a physical feature, I would say a gazelle.
No,
because you're long and you're thin and you're pointy in parts.
But they're ladies, I think, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't say that one. But I really feel like physically I experience you as a gazelle.
A gazelle?
Yeah.
A gazelle?
A gazelle. I mean,
No.
yeah, you're kind of the same coloring as a gazelle.
No.
You're kind
Do a
of
different one.
okay. I would say, ooh, maybe like you're one of those little you're one of those beta fighting fish.
Beta? No.
Yeah, those beta fighting fish. You can't
I'm
put
not
them
gonna
in
do
the
anything
bowl with
beta.
another male or they'll battle to the death. They have these long flowing, beautiful tails. You can buy them at Petco for $1.19.
I'm not doing anything beta, Hallie.
Oh, dang it. Okay. Well, what animal would you be like? I think maybe what is virile? It's not a lion. What about would you like you know who I think would be cool to be because he's so funny is that Eddie Murphy donkey from Shrek. I think you'd make a great donkey because you're so funny.
No, Hallie, I don't want to be a donkey. I want to be something better than that.
Well, give me a couple hints of like what, like for instance, give me a hint and see if I can guess what.
Like a killer whale or something.
Oh, a killer whale. I didn't think you would want to be a killer whale because they're massive and they go through menopause.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like
Humans and whales are the only species on Earth that go through menopause. Isn't that neat?
No, I don't really care about that, Hallie. Let's just change the.
Did
the
we answer
question.
the question?
I don't know, and I just think it's like I put some thought into mine, and then you just kind of like all over the place. I thought that would be a lot easier.
Thank you for calling me a hamster. I feel really good about that. I really feel good about that. I think hamsters are cute and dainty and not too loud. They sort of keep to themselves. They're everything a woman should be. Little, quiet, small, don't need a lot. Don't make a fuss. They're just sort of over there in the corner, digging in the cedar chips. That sounds relaxing to me. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, let's ask a new question because these ones haven't really sparked much of a conversation, have they? Let's see. I'm going to go to this one. Have we ever talked about how Gray and Hallie met Jesus and Christ specifically?
Oh, wow.
Also, there's a question in here. Would Hallie ever consider writing a book? If so, what would it be about?
You know what? I have thought about writing a book called The Daniel Diet, where we don't eat the king's food. I have thought about writing, well, wasn't I writing
Yeah, you were writing your blog.
What my
But your
blog
ladies, your ladies
a purpose-driven wife.
Yeah.
Which I think would make
Whatever happened with that? I thought you had a book deal.
Yeah, I'm writing a book. The whole thing is, I guess you just got to sit down and actually write it, which I don't want to do that part. But
Wait, you got a book
besides,
deal without writing anything, really?
oh yeah, you can do anything in Christian publishing. They'll put anything out and Christians will buy it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how is the purpose-driven wife going?
Oh, it's going good. I still do blog entries.
A blog.
Blag. It's a Substack, but I'm like, who's ever going to be able to remember the name Substack? It's a blag. You
Right,
know what I
blog.
mean?
Yeah.
Blag.
Okay.
BLOG. Blag.
So you're still doing that?
Still doing my blag. I put in ideas about how you can be a purpose-driven wife. You know, maybe you take on all the taxes and do the taxes for 3 months, every, uh January through April 15th, and you do that for the whole household. That's a way you can serve your husband. Isn't that fun? Also, I try to do lately. I've been doing trad wife tricks where you trick it into looking like you're doing trad wife things. You make it look like you're doing it from scratch, but you use a box of Bisquick. You know what I mean?
Oh, trad wife tricks. That seems like it could be really popular. And because you're not a trad wife, Hallie, because you work.
Right. I work, but in the ministry, obviously, which is awesome. And also, I only, feed my family things from bags and boxes out of the freezer and fridge. I let somebody else make it. I heat it up. I call that cooking. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it because I'm not sure I wanted kids in the first place.
Oh, really? You've
Well,
never said that, Hallie.
did I just say that out loud? Is there any way we can, like, bleep that out, or
No,
can
this
we
is
go back
live.
and, we can edit it out later?
Well, this is live, Hallie. But
Well, then let me just follow that up by saying that it's been the greatest honor of my life, and it is the purpose of women. I mean, why did he give us ovaries and fallopians if not to send the egg into the cooker
well, I guess he
and
gives
pop
that to
out a
whales
bunch of
too.
daughters and then a son who is just going to do nothing but challenge your every single day.
Speaking of your son Day, somebody asked in one of the queries, does Day have a summer job?
Yeah,
Does he have a day job?
he's working with my tech kid.
Oh, yeah, we haven't checked in about the Tick Kid,
And speaking of my tech kid,
and that's Teens in Christian Service.
TICS, and I got my tech kid from Poland. So that I figured if he's from Poland, he's still going to look like he could be in our family. It's not going to draw any attention. But we've had to deal with some Polish stuff. Number one being that his name is Tedwash, but I'm like, who's ever going to remember that or be able to say it? I
Right.
can't. And so I call him Ted. And he's working a grounds crew. But I just wanted to circle back to Lincoln real quick. Lincoln, if you have two women in their 40s living next to you, keep your eye out for my tit kid, Ted, because he keeps hanging out with a lot of the gals in my book club. He's supposed to be hanging out with the teens in Climax, but I keep catching him with the moms, the
Yeah.
Climax moms. And I can't figure out why, other than that he's homesick for his mom and I don't have a lot of a nurturing side.
Well, Jesus liked to hang out with, the elders, the teachers, didn't he? And
That's
maybe that
right.
is Ted's
Oh,
calling
yeah.
too, that he
That's
really
right.
brings a sense of wisdom to this group of older women.
Yeah, he likes their company. And I mean, he again has a 5 o'clock shadow at 8 a.m. And he kind of has like a developed, like, if I were to rip my son Day's shirt off, a lot of times he goes to pool parties and keeps his t-shirt on. But if I were to rip it off and say, get in there with no top on and with some full blown shorts that look like culottes, because that's what the cool look is for boys that are just going to like drag you under the water like Ophelia and Shakespeare. Um, what you would see on my son Day if I ripped his shirt off is this tiny little like skeleton with skin over it and two nipples. Boys his age, like their bodies aren't developed yet. They're just like skin hanging off a bag of bones, and the bag of bones is just growing. They have all these growing pains. I say, go take 2 Tylenol and zip it. But he's this long, skinny. But Ted Douage has these like developed chest muscles and almost like these, muscles going up to his neck and chicken uh, breasts on either side of his whole back looks like a
Well,
bunch of
he's
chicken
not that
breasts.
big, Hallie. I mean, he is definitely working out. I've seen him, but he's not. I wouldn't say he's as cut as you're making him out.
I keep buying him these Gillette disposable razors that got 3 blades, and I'm like, Ted, go in the bathroom, run a sink of water. I mean, I don't know how to do it because I'm not a guy, but I think you go against the grain down here. You can just tell from the commercials. You go against the grain down here, you go with it up here and get it off because you're a teen, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have anyone else with a beard in Climax?
I'm trying to think. No, I don't really have too much facial hair going on in Climax, although a lot of them right now are doing this very thin, very thin mustache. It's almost
Really?
like it's a challenge where they try to see who can get the thinnest line of hair on the upper lip that they shave.
Well, are they shaving it that way? Or I got to tell you something, Gray. That's just how it comes in.
Well, they shave it to make it look like they shave the top and the bottom so
Yeah.
that the middle part looks intentional.
I'm surprised more of them aren't doing what you're doing with your facial hair. They
Oh,
should
do you
be
like this?
emulating you. Yeah, I think that looks cool. What's it called?
Well, I mean, it used to be called a soul patch, but I really like it when the patch goes into my cleft, my chin cleft.
That's so cool.
And so it's a little bit more than a patch, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of looks
Clay calls it a landing strip.
yeah, it's like a furry crack.
I don't call it. I wouldn't call it that. But yeah, yeah, Clay calls it like if there's a soul, it's kind of a soul strip,
Oh, cool.
a soul landing strip.
Landing strip's fun. That's cool.
Because, whatever comes out of my mouth, Hallie, it's a good reminder that should be intentional.
And we
that
want it to land
we
with
want it
people.
to land with teens. That's what I was going to say.
Put Jesus on their hearts. Wow, that's so cool. Well, did we answer the question?
Yeah, I think we did. Do we want to do one more?
Yeah, I love these. How many more do we have?
Oh, we had a lot, Hallie, but I think in the interest of time and also because some of the things we've said so far, I think I want to edit out. But here's one to go out on. Our sleepovers happening between the daughters. I'm assuming this is your daughter's, Hallie. Your daughter who looks like her boy and her new femme bestie.
Oh, are they having sleepovers?
Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, she's been sleeping over either at our place or my daughter's been over at Brandy's place. I'd say every night since they met. They're always just giggling and goofing off and wrestling. And it's fun to see female friendship. And to be honest with you, between you, me, and the lamppost, if this girl Brandy looked like the way I'm picturing Lincoln's neighbors with it, which is kind of like the back of their hair kind of comes to the collar, the sides kind of comes to the ear. They might have a couple inches on top and maybe some grays showing because they're not getting it dyed. If she looked like, she was going to grow into that, well, no, we wouldn't be having sleepovers. But this girl, I mean, she's always got on a red lip. She uses a liquid eyeliner on her eyes. She looks like Taylor Swift, honestly. So
no.
There's no way she could be any kind of threat for it to be something like, like I think some nuns do because they get too bored in the up there in the nunnery. I don't want any of that stuff happening because I think, sleepovers are where we eat pizza and we, watch our favorite movies and then we tell jokes and laugh and trade stickers and friendship bracelets.
I mean, what is so funny, Hallie? This is what I'm always asking the teens, especially the ladies in Climax. What's so funny? You know what I mean? Where they're always giggling and I'm going, what's so funny?
Oh, if you listen to what they're talking about, Greg, guess what? It's not funny. It's not even
funny.
interesting.
It's not.
They're talking about the dumbest stuff.
It's not.
And their feelings are like concentrated. You know how do you ever make orange juice from concentrate where you grab the little frozen chub out of the freezer, you pull the white strip off, throw that in there, grab that aluminum top, and then you just have to squeeze the cardboard size of the concentrate into a pitcher. Then you take that, squeeze tube you just had, kind of looks like something you also can make cinnamon rolls out of. You put that under the kitchen sink. You dump 1, you dump 2, you dump 3 things of water in there. You stir it up. Well, that's what I think happens with adulthood, is that when you're a teenager, you're like that concentrated part. You're feeling everything so much. Oh my gosh, I feel all these things. I have to express every thought and feeling I've ever had. Everything they say is dumb. Nothing is interesting. They're not smart. The things that they're interested in are so silly and stupid. It's like mind numbing. And to listen to them makes you dumber.
Yeah, I've never had juice, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, juice is good for you. It's good sugar because it comes from fruit.
Did we get it? I think we did. Thanks,
Wow.
everybody.
I was really obnoxious today. I feel bad. Sorry, y'all.
We got some real Hallie rants today. I think the early morning serves Hallie. Thanks, everybody. That was a live recording of an episode that will show up somewhere in the feed. Thanks for those questions.
The one that came out this morning was the one that's in the feed this morning was from 2 weeks ago, one of our live streams.
Oh yeah, so there's an episode in the feed.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks so much for joining,
Riley,
everybody.
you broke Hallie's brain.
We'll be doing these most Sundays. They've been so fun. It helps us use your great suggestions and get them into the show.
So did you like the Q&A format, Greg?
I did. I need to do a little bit better job of sorting them beforehand because they come into all sorts of different modes of communication. But thank you for that.
So good. It's so helpful, man. It's so helpful for you to just like prod us along. I really love it so much.
If you're just joining for the first time, thanks so much for. Oh, did anybody get the
Donovan
Gio's reference?
What are we gonna do about dinner?
If anybody gets that, I'll send you a pin. No Googling. And I guess I'll go ahead and plug it here. I'm producing a show. It's called Like Minds, and it's a comedy and trivia show. And
pub trivia. It's so fun.
It's really fun. And we got Helen Hunt playing.
What a sweetie.
And Kate McCucci. And that live stream is next Sunday afternoon. So go check that out too. And Like Minds is also on YouTube. So a little cross promotion. Check out Like Minds Trivia.
Y'all, this week, Greg was like, Holly, I just got Helen Hunt's phone number. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then right when you said that, then all of a sudden I started to be like, hello, hi, Helen. And I was like, and I immediately started texting my best friends. I was like, Greg's on the phone with Helen Hunt right now. What is she like?
She's great. She's really cool.
Like?
She's well, the reason that I asked her is because she said I was backstage with her not long ago, and I remember her saying she has a standing game night, and she gets really into it. And they play charades and celebrity.
A weekly game night? Wow, that's a lot. That's awesome.
Or a month, I don't know. But she was just saying how much she loves games. So I filed it away and was like, I bet she would do a trivia thing. So
do you think she'll be like boning up to get ready for it?
It's kind of impossible to bone up for. Y'all will see. So
because it's themed.
Yeah, and the theme is like the theme. This one is the Beatles, but it's going to go off the rails. And we got Kate McCucci, Brendan Dowling, and Chris
McCucci will
Grace.
Be so funny. It'll be so fun. Can you tell us what the theme is? Do you know?
Yeah, the Beatles will be the theme, is what I said.
Oh, I never listened to a word you say. but does Helen know that the theme is Beatles? Because I would be boning up so hard on Beatles information.
Helen doesn't know. I think I told Kate, but I think it's going to be really fun.
If you told Kate, you have to tell Helen.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
Because
Dan Van Kirk would be great on.
He would be great. I love him.
He would be great.
I love him. He's what one of my best friends calls a marriage ender.
Daniel Van Kirk.
Yeah, she's like, he'll end your marriage.
You got to tell him that. He'll be so
that pumped. Would make him feel so good. I just think because I thought it was so sweet when Helen did the Improvised Shakespeare Company. You could tell she had been reading so much Shakespeare leading up to it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
really cared and
yeah.
was like, that's so cool when people give a shit, and it's so I love it. I love it. I love it.
So yeah, check out Like Minds on YouTube, Like Minds Trivia, and come stream or come to the show live and in person in LA, Dynasty Typewriter on Sunday afternoon next week. And we'll also be back here doing a live stream next week.
Okay, we're doing this and Like
Yeah,
Minds.
we'll do them both.
Lincoln is also listening to Get It to Dutch. Isn't it so funny?
Oh,
I
thank
haven't
you.
listened to the new one, but it's so funny. It's so funny. It makes me mad.
Get It to Dutch. You might have heard the little promo too in the mega feed,
It's
but
so
that's
good,
my new
y'all.
podcast. So check that out too.
It's so good. And this week has Weird Al. Wait, what's Weird Al like?
He's delightful. He's so sweet and not at all. He's just kind of sweet and quiet, and then he's a maniac on the mic. It was so fun.
Wow.
Well, thank you all. We're gonna go eat a brunch and have a great rest of your holiday weekend. We'll see you next Sunday, and hit us up in the Discord or the Patreon chat. We always love to hear from you.
I'm gonna go back. Will you leave this up so I can read all the comments? Because y'all are so funny. So I'm gonna go back and I always go and read all the ones that I missed because your bits are great. And sometimes I can't usually I try to keep my glasses off so I can't read the comments so I can stay focused on the improv. But whenever I put my glasses on and do pick up comments, then I always steal your shit.
that's the fun.
Thanks for the bits.
Thanks,
babes.
everybody. Smash that thumbs up if you have a second.
Happy
and
Sunday. Love you.
You can watch this back. We'll put it in the YouTube feed. Thanks,
See you
everybody.
next week. Bye.
Bye.